Hi, I'm just doing a quick, these two videos. NASA finally admits not going to the moon. I mean, obviously they're not saying we didn't go to the moon, but they are in a way, because this video here, loaded by Seb Menard, it shows that the people now at NASA are trying to develop a space capsule that can travel through the Van Allen radiation belts. And there's no way they went to the moon. They just didn't go. It's a huge lie. Okay, so and we know it now, because that's why they're having to develop a special capsule to be able to go through the Van Allen radiation belts. Apparently, the radiation's so strong it'd damage all the electrical equipment. Okay, so they just they have been lying to the public for absolutely years and years, decades, and it was a giant hoax. And this is even worse. Right, 9/11, questions they can't answer, the neocons. These are the conners, con artists, liars, murderers. Okay, liars and murderers. As the plane's heading towards the Pentagon. It's 10 miles out, sir. It's 5 miles out, sir. It's 3 miles out, sir. Do the orders still stand, sir? Yes, of course they still stand. Go away. Have I told you anything different? Bang, the Pentagon gets it. Come on. Wakey, wakey, little twatty people, America and Britain. Okay, Britain, we're have just voted ourselves out of the EU. Okay, like twats. Because our government, the neocons of Britain, don't like EU law, just as these bastards don't either, and they want to break the EU up because they don't like EU law. They don't like the human rights it upholds. They don't like child protection directives. They don't like environmental protection. They don't like drugs protection. Okay? They don't like people's right to health care. They don't like welfare. They don't like social housing. They don't like fucking anything that goes to anyone except them. Okay, because the people are supposed to be all living in little hovelly huts on their plantations as slaves. That's where they want to be. Okay, and that is actually where they fucking well are right now. And so they want to break the EU up to make it easier to corporatise the whole planet and have their new world order. And anybody that spoke, that did not explain that to the British people, okay, you are responsible now for what happens to Britain. I hope you're aware of that. Every single person in the alternative media and mainstream media and politician that supported Leave, okay, that supported Brexit, you are responsible, because you've put this country at risk now, because you voted out of the EU, which upholds human rights and child protection directives, okay, while under governance of a government that has promised to scrap your human rights and has moved DynCorp into the country and has handed over childcare to another global security firm, G4S. Okay? And none of you were bothered about the corporate threat. Instead, you were all listening to David Icke going on about the threat of being in Europe and, other alternative media people. You know who you are. And none of them, you see, it was a distraction. All their whole argument was a distraction. It's not immigrants that are robbing British and American people of jobs. It's the corporations that employ illegal immigrants, knowing that they're illegal immigrants. They employ them as cheap labour because they don't want to pay proper wages to people. If they didn't, if these fuckers and their cronies didn't employ them, they'd soon be found out, wouldn't they? Because every time one of them went for a job, it'd be like, oh, have you got any paperwork? No, sorry, I can't employ you. I'm going to have to report you to the police. But no, they didn't do that, did they? They fucking employed them for $2 an hour or £2.50 an hour in Britain. That's what they did. They laid off. Half the building workers in Britain got laid off. Because, you know, all of a sudden, they could employ people at £2.50 an hour. But that wasn't the immigrants nicking your jobs, was it, you daft twats? Who was it? It was the employers. Illegally employing people and giving them an illegal wage. But instead, what does Britain do? Like, behaves like the twat that twats are programmed us to be. Blame the victim, the impoverished immigrant that's come to try and find a better life. And that's what they've done in America, the same thing. And they've put Trump up now, who's the biggest neocon of them all. But, you know, the one thing that you need to understand, you need to watch this video. Trust no man. Okay? You need to watch. Because this series of videos explains the facts of 9/11. If you're too pig-thick stupid to realise, to recognise controlled demolitions when you see them, and you really believe that the laws of physics can be denied to suit these idiots, you really believe that? So, you know, and what it is, right, it's since Kennedy got shot and Martin Luther King, when those two guys got shot, that was the end of America. America was overtaken by the neocons, and they've been there ever since. In Britain it began with Margaret Thatcher. Okay. She came with a few sweeteners. Oh, you can buy your council house. Okay. Oh, you can go and borrow money. You can have a credit card. That's what she brought in. But for America, it began with the shootings, murder of JFK, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King. And since then, these evil people have been in. They've been lying ever since. They orchestrated the moon landings. Nixon was the most evil, corrupted president that America could ever have. And he would never ever have got into America. He would never have been elected in if JFK hadn't have been murdered. Because he had the public heart. The public supported him. He wanted an open, free society, a truly free America, and these fuckers didn't. Because it would be cutting into their billion-dollar budgets, wouldn't it? And this man, these two, they need to be in jail for murder. Okay, these two. Murder. Treason. High treason. High treason. Murderers. Murderer. Treasonist. Okay? Because you covered up, didn't you? You told a pack of lies. You obviously were in on the plot, because otherwise why would you cover up for people who'd bombed, who'd pre-wired the trade centres and Building 7? Why would you cover up for them? And every media outlet that has refused to listen to the families, because at first you were all saying, oh, don't be disrespectful to the families. But no, the families are asked questions as well. And you've even refused the families. Media, you're all complicit. You will all be judged as murderers. Do you understand that? This universe will judge everybody that knows the truth, that has ignored the facts, about 9/11 and refused, who's especially people who've been in a position of power, you will be judged as complicit because you've not spoken out. You've not come out and said, I do not believe your conspiracy theory, and I find you all guilty, suspect now, lawfully suspected of murder and criminal military action abroad on the strength of your lies and murder in order to cover up banking fraud and theft on such a grand scale. It's caused a global economic collapse, and of which the public is then expected to bail them out and pay interest. You know, basically ask the bank. The banks come to us, oh, we're going to collapse. Will you borrow a huge amount of money off us so we can give it to ourselves, and then the public will pay it back to us with interest? Yeah. They can fuck off. And that's what people need to tell them. You do need to get a backbone, humanity. You need to stop being all squeaky, squidgy, squodgy, because that's what you are in so-called civilised society. You know, you're all doing your coke and your drugs behind the scenes. None of you care that poor people are going in prison for a bag of weed. But meanwhile, you fuckers, you're all sat there with your big piles of coke at every fucking party, aren't you? You middle class people. Oh, it's all right for you to take pills, innit, and walk round with a big bag of speed in your fucking pockets. No one's going to stop and search you, are they? Because there ain't any laws against drugs in your world, is there? Them laws are just to persecute poor people with, aren't they? To find reasons to go and search the home and persecute and prosecute them and earn money for your private jails. Find inmates for your private jails. Give something for the police to do other than investigate anything your evil bastards are doing. Well, I'll tell you something, the police are going to wake up because, you know, most of the police are not as corrupt as you bastards, and once they realise what you have done, they will be out and they will get you. You're all going down, and if you don't go down in this life, in this world, if you do pay your penance in this world, you should think yourself lucky. Because if you go to the grave, beyond the grave, that's it, your soul is gone. Because you'll be so full of guilt. No hiding place from it. It'll be there. No hiding place. No room. No bliss for you. You think you've had your bliss on earth, haven't you? With your power and all your money and looking down your nose at people and, you know, sitting idly by while children are being trafficked and raped and while you public are being shot by the police or suffocated or scolded in showers in prison because they've got mental health problems. And, you know, this is why I have a problem with people around me now in Britain, and I've started to realise, because I've been on a very, very short fuse recently because I've had so much shit for no reason. I mean, literally, people have fabricated lies, fabricated reasons to fall out with me. Or then some people, they haven't actually fell out with me, but, you know, they haven't come to my face and said anything. But I just know by the fact that they stayed away and they don't bother to ring me up anymore, and they removed themselves off, my friends off Facebook, but at the same time they're arranging for their son to move into my house. A house which I'm being forced to leave because, well, basically, lies that have been told about me and the fact that the friend of the landlady is a covert narcissist thief. That's what she is. She's a thief. She steals off people in order to cause them upset and problems. She's a very, very nasty piece of work. Works with children as well. But, you know, they feed her ego. They feed her ego. She loves to be surrounded by adoring children. But no, she couldn't possibly steal off me, even though I've got witnesses. Apparently they're mad and liars as well. She hadn't just stole off me, she stole off another of my friends as well, who caught this person red-handed going through the drawers on more than one occasion. And then noticed after things gone missing. Oh no, it couldn't be possibly her, I'd said to this friend. So nice. Well, what can I think? I bought these things and then they were gone. I bought these things for my friend's baby and now they just vanished, and I can't think who else, but I did catch this person going through my drawers. Well, until you're sure, you can't really say anything, and then all of a sudden you're sure. And then out comes the shit. You see, and this is the kind of society, I know it's probably the same in America from what I've been looking, that I'm dealing with, and I've started to realise why these people just, I feel enraged when they're around me. I've been feeling enraged, and I know now why it is, because they're ignorant fucks. They're barbarians, they really are barbarians. They haven't got an ounce of compassion in them. And it's so easy for them to be so nice, because it's easy to live in Britain. If you've got a bit of money, you can look like a very nice person, you can do your thing, but Britain is just full of egos. That's all they are, egos. Empty, airheaded fucking egos. Judges as well, they're right, judgmental. Judge. Well, now I've started judging them back. Okay, the judges shall be judged with their own fucking judgments. And what they don't say to me, what they say to me by action, I will fucking say to them in words like, fuck off, bitch, fuck off, bastard. Because that's what they've all been saying to me. But they're so, ooh, lovely, nice people. They'd never say anything like that. But me, I'm so fucking horrible. I will, okay? I will call a spade, and I will say these bastards are complicit in 9/11. And they've lied, and they did lie about NASA as well, right? They have lied about NASA. There's no two ways about it, okay? They did lie about NASA.
Recently we reported on...
Sorry. They did lie about the moon landings, you know. They did not go to the moon. Okay, they did not go to the moon. That's a fact. Okay. There you go. This is a fact. Moon poses radiation risk to future travellers. It's really high radiation. Okay. The temperatures on the moon are extreme. Because there's no atmosphere, do you know if you put your hand in a shadow on the moon, you're going to freeze within seconds. It'll be literally like putting your hand in a freezer. Because there's no atmosphere. It's very hot on the hot side, very, very cold in the shadow. The liars, they didn't go. All this is a lie. It's a lie. People need to wake up. Need to wake up, because I tell you now, this planet is at risk. If I thought that this new world order was going to be a good thing, and I could really trust the people that were doing it, I wouldn't be spending every minute of my time trying to warn people and trying to inform people and trying to wake people up. I'd be supporting them. But I know for a fact that these people, okay, are thick as pig shit. And so are all their bankers. They have not got a clue what they're doing. They're like, do you know what they're like? Do you know what they remind me of? A group of dirty old men in a toilets hanging around the cottagers. That's what we call them in Britain, cottagers. They hang around public loos, hoping for, you know, sexual intimacies with strangers for a bit of a thrill. That is what they remind me of. Cottagers, dirty little bastards, all got the dirty little fucked up secrets. They're all filth. They are the filth. They wouldn't even be there if they weren't filth. Because it's the filth, it's the cream of the filth. That's what is in power. The cream of the filth. And they have, you know, they are taking over our planet. Okay. They are taking over our planet. Can't find that thing now. Where is anything when you need it? Might be here. There we go. This is what they're up to, right? This is going to be their goal. Growing humans in factories. That's what they want. I'm outraged. You know, can you imagine paedophiles growing babies? That is why they are so dangerous. And that is why America, you are key as well. You're a key player here. You've got to wake up to reality. You've got to accept the fact that these fucks did 9/11. You are going to have to stand up against this tyranny. Because the longer you leave it, the worse it's going to get. And are you going to wait for this? Is this what you're going to wait for? They're mad. They're mad as fuck. Right, they're mad enough to kill JFK. They're mad enough to kill Martin Luther King. And we know he was murdered now by the FBI and CIA. Okay, we know that now without a shadow of a doubt. It's been found. They've been found guilty in court. This is what they're up to. This is their future. This is their future. Okay? And they've been blatantly covering up very, very serious crimes against children committed by their gangs and groups. Okay? The kind of men that can abuse children are the kind of men who will do 9/11. They will have no problem sending a missile, because that's what they did. I've analysed the evidence. I'm absolutely sure that a low-flying plane released a missile and it went straight into the Pentagon, straight into the accounts department where all the evidence was about the missing $2 trillion from the Pentagon budget. It was all in that section that got hit by the missile. And they killed 36 investigating staff. That is what they did. And one of the women who phoned up her husband, she said on the phone, you can hear her very clearly at the end of speaking to him, because we know now that they couldn't have even phoned from them planes anyway. But we know now that right as she said goodbye, she got tearful and she said, "It's a frame. It's a frame." Right. It's a frame. And it's there. And why would she say that? A plane apparently has been hijacked. Why would she say to her husband, "It's a frame"? Because it is a frame. In America, you're being framed. And now you're about to be walled in by their latest nutter. And believe you me, Donald Trump is an abomination. He really, really is the person who is in the wrong place, isn't it? Because his place is on reality TV. It is fucking not at the White House. And every time I see his motley crew, they remind me of a set of filthy gangsters. Okay, that's who they are. They just remind me of a set of slimy, oily, sleazy gangsters. Talking about, "Oh, wait, I'm going to give you the best healthcare. The best healthcare. It's going to be so fantastic. You will get so tired of winning, winning, winning." And everybody's losing, 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 and they have been since JFK died. America lost its democratic president, and from that moment on it lost its democracy. And the government has never ever served the people again, and the Democratic Party was totally infiltrated by the covert narcissists who pretend that they're serving the people, but they're always secretly serving these, as Hillary Clinton's emails now reveal perfectly. You know, we have to give one face to the public, but behind the scenes, obviously, we're supporting you bankers, really. But, you know, we can't tell the public that because it might give them the wrong impression. Yeah, it bloody does give us the wrong impression. So, you know, watch these. And as I say, you do need to wake up, America. You've got to wake up. And you need to get strong. And as I say, you need to get strong in the spirit of universal intelligence and universal law. As a reality, get in touch with your quantum light being. As a reality. It's a new facet, it's a new discovery of the 21st century now. Scientific fact that we can factually prove what our ancestors and the native peoples intuitively always knew. We do have a soul and a spirit. They do survive after death. Most of us are probably reincarnated back to life on Earth. So think about it, America. Think about it. Am I lying? Suppose I'm telling the truth and you are reincarnated back to Earth. Is this what you've got to look forward to? Being born in a synthetic womb? To be controlled by the neocons? You need to think about it. Because these need to be stopped. Because our planet will be destroyed. They are a cancer. They're so stupid and thick. They've got no purpose other than their own selfish, idiotic desires. They're unintelligent people. They will lead the children to ruin because they are lawless. The law is the rod. Spare the law, ruin the child. This is what happens to children when there's no law. And what, they've got rid of human rights, and then they'll be growing babies in synthetic wombs. And who do you think is going to get this technology first? It's going to be these lot, innit? They'll be having access to it. It wouldn't surprise me if they're not doing it already. Ban child trafficking, stop child trafficking, and have a secret lab somewhere growing babies for them. Then they'll have absolute control, and this is not how we're meant to be. We're not meant to be a prison planet. Okay, Jah did not create Earth, did not create humanity to be a prison planet controlled by a few evil bastards. You know, and do not be afraid to call a fucker, or a bastard a bastard. These are the real bastards of humanity. They're bastards because they are cut off from their own humanity. They are bastards of humanity. They aren't real. They're just creations of this mad psychology that's been governing humanity for far too long, and it's been getting away with its crimes for far too long. And it's been funding its evil scientists for far too long as well, with our money. So Britain needs to get aware about DynCorp and the corporate threat now, and aware of what will happen when your human rights have gone, because then you really are back to Victorian Britain. Oh, and how terrible. Why didn't anybody warn us? Yeah, well, none of the establishment was ever going to warn you, and neither their alternative media, controlled opposition, shills. They were always going to distract you because they want the EU broken up, and they operate from a script. It's just that they do it covertly. They distract you by making you think they're imparting some truth. Oh, the EU. The EU's building its own army. There's going to be an EU army. They're going to take over Britain. No, there's already DynCorp, military, okay, corporate military, already established in Britain, ready to serve our government, ready to do whatever our government wants it to do for public money that will be paid to it. It will be contracted to Britain. If Britain sends it to Manchester and says, go and sort Manchester out, we're having stability problems there, then they fucking well will. And they'll arrive on the streets in their armoured military vehicles and in their military clothes and with their military guns. Now, had they tried that while we were in Europe, the European army could have come in to protect the British people from a military corporation that was helping our government to deny our human rights, because it's actually against the law to deny our human rights. It's against EU law. And the government did play devil's advocate. They pretended they wanted to stay in the EU when all along they didn't, because there's no way that they can scrap human rights and still stay in the EU. So add up the numbers, make sense, make fucking sense, barbarian Britain, because that's what you are, you barbarians. And that's why I can't be around most of my friends who so-called. And that's why any of them who come knocking on my door from now on will be told, go away, barbarian. I don't want nothing to do with barbarians. If they've got any interest or want to know why I've called them a barbarian, then they might start sharing some of the responsibility about addressing what's happening to children in this country. They might start sharing a few Facebook posts or giving me a bit of support on Twitter or supporting me on my YouTube videos or talking about them or writing to their MP about the issues or getting involved. But no, they don't want to talk about what's going on in the world. They just want to talk about themselves. They just want to thrive off this evil world. They don't care. They don't lose any sleep at night over the fact that Britain's bombed Iraq with depleted uranium and our country is responsible for causing deformities and disabilities in babies and children and giving adults cancer. They don't lose any sleep at night over that. That's why they're barbarians. That's what they are, the fucking barbarians. And, you know, I'm sick of the excuses. I've made excuse after excuse after excuse for these fuckers. Oh, but they don't understand. Oh, but they're too busy. But you know what? When it's come right down to it, they cannot even make the slightest excuse for me. In fact, they have to fabricate reasons to judge me and cut off from me because they don't like what I do. They don't like the fact that I'm addressing these issues. Apparently I'm putting them at risk. Really? Are they so much at risk? Right. Well, I'll tell you now. If you don't stand up and stand up for your rights and fight for them if you have to, then you know what I mean. You cowards, you're nothing. You don't deserve any rights because you're not a human being. If you're prepared to just sit down and stuff your face and buy your little twatty crap, and you can't even have a conscience about what your country's doing in your name, you will be judged for this country. You will be judged. When your spirit passes over, who are you? I'm a British subject. Oh, really? The only ones who will be safe are the people, the poorest people, who had no chance to know anything. The people who just couldn't know. But everybody knows in Britain, right? You know what this country's been doing. You all watch the bloody news. And you know what this country's been doing. So the people of this generation in Britain, you need to get real now. You need to get active. Because the children, how dare you even think for a minute that you're going to leave this world and leave them children to pay that debt? Well, you won't be leaving this world. You will be coming back to this world again and again and again and again. And if you leave these bastards to keep control of everything, this is what you'll be coming back to. Okay? You might be one of the babies that's born in a paedophile's little pod. A paedophile's pod. Okay? Nobody will ever even know that you existed. Into your little own horror for sadists. Okay? Is that what you want to risk? Is that your future humanity? Because that's why it is future humanity. Humanity, we are one. We are born again and again and again. The next life, what you do in this life, contributes towards the next life. And if you don't stand up for your rights in this life, I tell you now, you're never ever going to get those rights again. Because you will have left the world to be run by a set of evil bastard fuckers who planned and plotted and covered up the murder of people in the Twin Towers and at the Pentagon. Who planned and plotted to bamboozle the American public and lie to them about going to the moon.